Scene 1. The end of a normal day. January 13th, 1999 was a routine day at Woodlawn High School in Baltimore, Maryland. Hae Min Lee, an 18-year-old bright and popular Korean-American student, was last seen leaving school around 2:15 p.m. in her gray Nissan. She was on her way to pick up her younger cousin from daycare and then head to her job at LensCrafters. However, Hae never made it to either place. That evening, her family reported her missing. Despite police efforts and inquiries at school and among friends, no immediate leads surfaced. 4 weeks later, on February 9th, a maintenance worker discovered Hae's partially buried body in Leakin Park. An autopsy revealed she had been strangled. The murder shocked the community, and pressure mounted on the police to find the killer. Scene 2. A suspect and Jay's statement. The investigation soon focused on Hae's ex-boyfriend, 17-year-old Adnan Syed, a popular student. He and Hae had secretly dated in 1998 due to their family's disapproval. They broke up in December, and Hae began seeing someone new, Don Klinedinst. Police suspected jealousy might be a motive for murder. A turning point came when Jay Wilds, an acquaintance of Adnan, told police that Adnan had confessed to killing Hae and showed him her body in the trunk of her car. Jay claimed he helped Adnan bury the body in Leakin Park. Although Jay's statements changed multiple times, they became key evidence. He also said Adnan gave him his car and phone to contact him post-crime. Phone records showed a call near Leakin Park at 7 p.m., matching Jay's account. Scene 3. Arrest and courtroom drama. On February 28, 1999, Adnan was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, false imprisonment, and robbery. He maintained his innocence, claiming he was at school, then the library, and later the mosque. A classmate, Asia McLean, said she saw Adnan at the library at 2:30 p.m., contradicting the assumed time of the murder, around 2:36 p.m. But his attorney, Cristina Gutierrez, never called her as a witness. The first trial in December 1999 ended in a mistrial. The second trial began in January 2000 and lasted 6 weeks. The prosecution leaned heavily on Jay's testimony, phone records, and Hae's diary, which mentioned Adnan's possessiveness. A note from Hae to Adnan saying she wanted to move on had "I'm going to kill her" written on it in Adnan's handwriting. After only 2 hours of deliberation, the jury found Adnan guilty on February 25, 2000. He was sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years. Scene 4. Serial podcast and a new twist. In 2014, journalist Sarah Koenig's podcast Serial brought global attention to the case, highlighting investigative flaws, inconsistencies in Jay's account, unreliable cell tower data, and the ignored testimony of Asia McLean. With over 100 million downloads, the podcast raised doubts about Adnan's guilt. In 2016, Judge Martin Welch vacated Adnan's conviction and ordered a new trial, citing ineffective counsel, e.g. not challenging the cell tower data or calling Asia as a witness. However, in 2019, Maryland's Court of Appeals reinstated the conviction, arguing Asia's testimony wouldn't have changed the outcome. Scene 5. Conviction overturned. In 2022, under prosecutor Marilyn Mosby, a motion to vacate Adnan's conviction was filed due to Brady violation. Police notes about 2 alternative suspects, names withheld, one of whom had threatened Hae, were not shared with the defense. Weak evidence. Jay's credibility was questionable, and the phone tower data was unreliable. New DNA testing. In 2018 and 2022, DNA tests on items from Hae's car, rope, bottle, found no match to Adnan. On September 19, 2022, Judge Melissa Finn vacated the conviction, and Adnan was released after 23 years. In October, charges were dropped due to insufficient evidence for a new trial. But in March 2023, the conviction was reinstated on procedural grounds. Hae's family had not been properly notified of the hearing. In August 2024, Maryland's Supreme Court upheld the reinstatement but ordered a new hearing. In February 2025, the prosecutor withdrew the request to vacate, but supported reducing the sentence to time served. In March 2025, Judge Jennifer Schiffer modified the sentence to time served. The conviction technically remains, but Adnan is free and currently works at Georgetown University. Final scene, Hae's memory. Hae's family still seeks justice as the true killer remains unidentified. A scholarship was established in her memory, but her brother, young Lee, has said justice feels incomplete. The case has become a symbol in true crime history, exposing flaws in the justice system and the pursuit of truth. Observations, public interest. Serial made this one of the most famous true crime cases. Opinions are divided. Some believe Adnan was a jealous killer, others see him as a victim of flawed investigation. Cultural bias. Adnan's Pakistani-American identity raised concerns about racial prejudice. Hae's diary describing him as possessive, and the note he wrote may have unfairly swayed judgment. Weak evidence. No physical evidence, DNA fingerprints, linked Adnan to the crime. Jay's testimony was the main pillar, but highly inconsistent. Legal twists. Vacated, reinstated, and modified sentences reflect the complexities of the legal process. Police actions. Responded quickly to the missing person report and contacted friends, school. A tip on February 12th pointed to Adnan. Jay's coached testimony guided the investigation, relied on questionable phone records, failed to DNA test evidence in 1999. Tests in 2018 and 2022 excluded Adnan and Jay. Overlooked two other suspects, one of whom had threatened Hae. One was dismissed based on a flawed polygraph. Court proceedings. First trial, Dec 1999. Mistrial due to jury issues. Second trial, John Feb 2000. 6-week trial. Prosecution relied on Jay, phone records, and Hae's diary. Defense failed to call Asia McClain. Guilty verdict after 2 hours of jury deliberation. Appeals, 2003-2010. All failed. Post-serial, 2014-2016. New hearing in 2015. Asia testified. Judge Welch vacated conviction, but Court of Appeals reinstated it in 2019. 2022 developments. Conviction vacated due to Brady violation and new evidence. Charges dropped in October. Reinstated in 2023 due to victims' families' procedural rights. In 2025, sentence reduced to time served. Evidence. Jay's testimony, central but inconsistent. Locations and timelines varied, possibly coached by police. Phone records. 7 p.m. call near Leakin Park used as key evidence, later shown to be unreliable. Hae's diary. Mentioned Adnan's possessiveness, used to suggest motive. Adnan's note. I'm going to kill her, written on Hae's breakup letter, used to imply intent. Though context is unclear, Asia McClain's testimony placed Adnan at the library during the time of the murder, but she was never called in court. DNA tests, 2018 and 2022 tests excluded both Adnan and Jay. Alternate suspects. 2 emerged in 2022, including one who had threatened Hae. One suspect was a known serial offender, Ronald Lee Moore, but his DNA did not match. Analysis. Arguments for innocence. No physical evidence linked Adnan. Jay's account was inconsistent. Asia's alibi created doubt. DNA evidence excluded him. Brady violations showed prosecution withheld key info. Arguments for guilt. Jay knew details of the body location and cause of death. Phone and diary records supported jealousy motive. Prosecutors argued evidence was compelling. Systemic flaws. Poor defense, unreliable evidence, and ignored suspects weakened the case. Victims' families' rights were also violated. Social impact. Sparked debates on racial bias, juvenile justice, and media influence. Serial transformed the true crime genre. Adnan's release challenged public trust in the justice system.